here to talk about mastermind groups. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Stephen Craig. I'm a real estate appraiser. I also own my own business called SC Appraisal. And the reason I own my own business is because of my mastermind group. So we're going to talk a little bit about what mastermind is and what it can do for you.
Do any of you ever heard of a mastermind group at all? No?
Well, that's why I'm here.
Okay, all right. Well, a mastermind group is a group of fairly like-minded people that get together on a regular basis and they hold a structured meeting where they help each other achieve success in its most basic form. And there's different formats and things, but they all kind of follow a similar structure. I've been a part of a mastermind group since 2008, and it's really helped my business and my career. And we meet for breakfast every Tuesday morning. There's 5 of us, so it's been a really good thing for me.
This is my second mastermind that I'm part of. I actually evolved and kind of outgrew my first mastermind group because I wanted to stretch myself farther. So I ended up creating a new group. And my group, we meet on Saturday mornings on a conference call at 9 o'clock in the morning, typically. And
Why do you have to do a conference call?
we have to do a conference call because my team members are all over the place. One's in Montreal, one's in New Hampshire, one's in Colorado, one's in Champaign, Illinois, and then I'm in St. Louis. So this concept can work. Geography doesn't matter. But what does matter is that we are together every week as a group, and we work through our thing.
So, in a mastermind group, more times than not, at least in the ones that we're involved in, we're all business owners. And so, we have similar interests, we have similar outlooks in life, and we're all trying to grow our businesses. But we're all in different types of businesses, so we all have different perspectives. And in a mastermind group, usually it's pretty structured, where, at least for ours, we show up, we go around the room and we check in with everybody. Okay, anything special happened in the last week? And then we have a session where any one of us, if we're experiencing a certain problem, if we got some issue we're trying to work out, we can throw it out to the group, and then we'll go around the group and everybody gives feedback on what they think about it or how you can solve the problem, which has really helped me quite a bit, and especially when I was trying to figure out whether or not I should hire my first employee a few years ago or not. It was kind of daunting to think somebody's going to be on my payroll, and I had to. They helped me work through the math on how it made sense. But probably the most important part of a mastermind group is the accountability part of it. We all go over our business plans at the beginning of the year, or any sort of New Year's resolutions we're interested in accomplishing. Now, if any of you have done New Year's resolutions, how long does that last? Maybe a week, maybe a month.
January 3rd.
Okay, and then it gets shelved. Business plans happens the same way. The key to the group is we go over that, and then we follow up throughout the year. How's that coming? You wanted to do this project, or you wanted to do this expansion, or what have you. How's that going? And because we keep following up with each other, we actually get people to take action in the group. Every week we throw out our goals of the things that we want to accomplish that week. More times than not, the things that I throw out there are things that I don't want to do, but I know I need to do for my business. And because somebody's holding me accountable, because the next week I have to tell them, did I get it done or not? And they're going to ask me why if I didn't. Because I have other people holding me accountable, I get more done. And that's helped my business quite a bit. But I think it's important to do it on a regular basis.
The other piece of that puzzle is the accountability piece. Now, guess what? Is anyone here a liar? No? Has anyone ever told a lie? That means you're a liar. Okay, so that's all of us. All right, so we lie to ourselves most often, but we also lie to others. So the accountability piece is important, but the rest of the team gets to know you. guess what? They know how shifty and shady you can be, and they will call you on it. And that's the whole key to the mastermind. So it's not simply saying, okay, let's go through the checklist, but also it's seeing through what's going on with you as an individual that's keeping you from getting from point A to point B. So maybe it's just simply that you're doing it again, and that's all it has to be said. And I know my group because we've been together since 2007, so they can tell me, actually, we use each other as examples, you know. It's like my guy Barry was kind of in his junk last week, and someone says, you know, you remind me of Steve Craig about 4 years ago. Remember that? You know, and everyone kind of remembers, and it kind of helps you say, wait a minute, I don't have to be suffering here because there's a way out of the mess. So the team kind of circles the wagons around you when you're going through the tough times, and also helps you stretch when you're going good. When you're going good is when you really want to stretch. And believe me, somebody asked me, what's your goal? And I'll give an example. They said, okay, what are you going to do gross revenue, for example? This is about 3 years ago. And I used numbers, and I came up with a figure. I thought about it all week long, and I come up and said, hey, here's my number. It's going to be $180,000 in revenue. So I get, you know, BS. That's what I got, BS. You're not stretching. I'm like, why am I not stretching when I'm basically going 25% higher than I did last year, for example? And they said, because we want to know what your best month was. So I give them the best month, and they go, multiply that out times 12, that's your number. So that number was 250. So I'm like, okay, begrudgingly, 250. Long and short, I ended up at 225. Okay? I'm willing to bet if I would have stuck with my 180, I probably would have got 180 and been happy about it. But isn't the 225 better? So that's what a team can do for you.
And if you're meeting once a week, you all really get to know each other. So, you know, that way we can call each other on a carpet, and we can really push each other to succeed more. And I think that's extremely important. You know, even when you're students, you can have, you know, we do it as part of our, you know, to further our businesses, but even as students, you can do mastermind groups.
Delta Sigma Pi is a mastermind. It's a big mastermind. Mastermind groups, we're talking about 3 to 6 people, something like that, so you can get some synergy and all that. But you can mastermind in a lot of ways, at home, at school, at work, and then outside. I mean, it's just the concept is I don't have to know everything, but I do know something. So I have something to offer. Everyone in here has something to offer, right? So what you're going to do is go out there and find people that are kind of like you, but they have something to offer you, and you have something to offer them, and then collectively you can create greater things. Some of the parts being born.
In my case, I got asked to join a mastermind group that was already existing, but tell them a little bit about how you started yours.
So I went through some leadership training, and in the leadership training, the end game was you were in a mastermind. And then we found out later on how they created the mastermind was what time you could show up at a call, you know. So it wasn't really that creative. And I was with that group, and I stuck with that group. But what I tended to find out is their focus was on relationships, because a lot of them struggled with relationships, be it business relationships, life at home, father and daughter, whatever. To me, I kind of outgrew that. I was looking for something different. And I was employed as a real estate appraiser with a firm, and I wasn't where I wanted to be income-wise. So I went out there and sought out other people that were either business owners, made more money than I did, and I also looked at a guy that was really organized, because I'm not Mr. Organization. So I invited them to a mastermind. They all knew what it was. They were all through the same leadership training, so it wasn't a foreign concept. And years later, we just actually met in Boston. We every year we get together in one of the guys' towns, and we were in Boston this year. And it was pointed out to me, you know, I got that invite call from you. I was on Wall Street having the worst day of my life, and you called me and invited me to be a part of this mastermind team. And he said it was very powerful to me, and I didn't know that that was the story. But it's just an example that I created a better mastermind for me because I went and sought it out once I understood the concepts and I knew how to go through the mechanics of it all. Then I started looking for what I wanted to make me better. You know, since I've known these guys, I've doubled my income and I own my own business. And I've also learned a second language and a second marriage and we have a child. I mean, so we can go down the list, you know. So, I mean, when I met these people, I was going through a divorce, you know. So, a lot of stuff goes on for a person when that happens to them. That was the first time I had failure in my life. So, the key in all of this stuff, you're going to run into failure, you're going to run into stuff, but you need to find a way to get out of it quickly. Well, masterminding is one of the best ways to do this.
And you know, to be successful in life, you have to balance work and other things outside, other interests. I know in my group, and I'm pretty sure, most likely in yours as well, it's not just about business. It's what do you want to accomplish in your life. You know, for some of us, it's a better relationship with our spouses. You know, for others, it's some other thing that they're trying to accomplish. But you know, one of the keys to it is we're all really supportive of each other. You got to find like-minded people, people with a good positive attitude, because that all rubs off, and that's really worked well for us. You know, both of our groups, I know, kind of have the same philosophy in that sense, sort of attracting the things that you want in your life and being positive about it. You were talking about that a little bit in the first session.
Right. Well, the concept, I don't know if this is where it came from, but Think and Grow Rich, that's a book out there by Napoleon Hill. It's a very old business book that a lot of people have gone after, and you may have already read it, I don't know, or heard of it. That's where some of the mastermind concepts comes from, but also he's more about believing in oneself and making things happen, using the power of controlling your mind to make things happen, that kind of thing. I'll go through a little bit of what we do when we go through a meeting. You know, clears and wins is what we call it. So we show up, we're clear. There's nothing going on in our junk. You know, I close my office door. My family knows not to knock on. I'm in my mastermind meeting. You know, wins. We always talk about something that happened that was awesome. Kind of gets the meeting off. Hey, you know, this is what happened with me this week. What about you? And we all kind of know. So we go around the horn that way. Then we do what's called declarations, and this is read before the meeting. This is read in every meeting, the declarations. And I'm going to go ahead and read these. It doesn't take that long.
No, we don't do that.
These are the declarations. I enter the group from the place of beginner's mind, where I understand that I truly have more knowledge to gain than I possess. I release my preconceived notions of how things need to be. I believe in the power of the group's alliance, especially as we come together in the spirit of harmony and clear intention. My greatness expands with the power of the group beyond that of when I am alone. I choose. I willingly choose to participate in this group, and I choose to unconditionally forgive myself and all others for any past negative thoughts or actions, and open myself to the changes I need to make in order for me to create the abundance I deserve and desire. I am grateful. I am grateful for the blessings bestowed upon me in my life and for the responses my requests garner. I commit. I commit to being open to receive all that comes to me and to follow the guidance and wisdom of the group. I accept that the intelligence and creative power of the collective insights are greater than my own. I respect the honor of being a part of this group and treat both the individuals and the information they share with the utmost respect, confidentiality, and integrity. Together we form a mind trust which allows total freedom of thought and word. I ask with an affirmation that demonstrates my belief that my requests will be honored. So, a little corny maybe. It gets you lined up and ready. And then everyone does their, what we call requests. It could be goals, whatever you want to call it. You know, everyone has different requests, like he said. Some people it's about income. I've got one guy, he's trying to help. There's a foundation out there in Canada where he's from that lost a lot of funding from the national because the country's not doing as well, so they're not giving money, they're not giving the grant money to this organization that he really believes in. So he's headed up trying to create $1 million a year for these people. And he's just reaching out and doing whatever he's doing, and we're supporting him in doing that. I mean, the guy's done 500,000, you know, people, he's just out there getting people to donate, you know, so that's just one of his things. He wants to get his contribution. My mastermind is called WAC, Wealth, Abundance, and Contribution. So that's our focus. Now, there's other ones that are different, you know. And
We don't have a name for ours.
Yes. I would challenge you to come up with a name, because it kind of creates an ownership. You know, we're proud about it. You know, I mean, that's the whole thing. So we're together. We're helping each other improve always. And the thing is, change. To me, you know, I'm the one that in the group that I'm always forcing them to change everything they're doing. So, because I always think you can't get any better if you're not willing to change. So I'm always looking. While we keep the meeting the same, there's always a little tweak here and there that I'll throw out there. You know, so.
Dustin, I know with Legal Shield, you're semi kind of running a business. Do you do like a business plan at the beginning of every year?
We gotta do a business plan at the beginning of every month,
Okay.
just because of the nature of what the business is. But yeah, we do have to sit down and put together a goal and figure out each other's schedule. Because I have a partner, so we figure out each other's schedule and who can handle what commitments.
Okay. On a monthly basis, it's kind of hard for that to slip through the cracks. Anybody else ever done a business plan at all? Anybody done New Year's resolutions?
Study plan.
Study plan, there you go, yeah.
How'd that work out for you? Didn't happen, did it? You know, a year's a long time to plan for, and if you don't have somebody helping you and keeping you, holding you accountable, usually doesn't happen. That's the biggest thing that I get out of my group is the accountability piece.
Yeah, for me, it's continually being challenged to move, because making a choice, believing that it can be done, and just moving, taking action. You know, so there's a little wheel. It's kind of, I believe in something, I make a choice, I take action, and then I get a result. Well, sometimes it's failure, right? Okay. So then what do I have to do? I have to change it. So the definition of sanity, you've heard the definition of insanity, right? Sanity, doing things differently until I get the results I want. So we're continually changing. We're continually tweaking everything because we need to get really focused, what we call laser focused on what we want to make it happen. To really get inside the subconscious of ourselves and get out of our own way. And everyone's had this happen, by the way. Everyone's made something happen in their life. I mean, you all got accepted to college, right? Has anyone ever been on a date, right? You made that happen. You know, maybe you masterminded with your friends on how to get so-and-so to ask you out. Maybe you masterminded with your friends on how to ask that girl out. However it happened. So that's just, I mean, it's all around us. We can't avoid it, but it's those of us that are paying attention to what's going on in life that are going to tap into what's going to get us to succeed.
Anybody have any questions? At this point, we're supposed to open it up to questions. Nothing? Yes.
So, I mean, how do you go about meeting these people that are becoming members of your group? And what is the, I guess, process by which you enter the group, annual fees, things like that?
My group doesn't have a fee.
Yeah,
We just meet for breakfast. And one of the members, we rotate, one of the members will pay for the breakfast that week. But there's no fee or anything. You know, it was a friend that invited me into the group. But, you know, in Steve's case, he basically attracted the group. You want to find people that are at least your equal or more successful than you. Because they're the ones that are going to push you to get to that next level.
Or they have something that you don't have, right?
So this is not like BNI. This is not an organized thing. This is something that you just put together with people.
Yeah.
This isn't like
Like
BNI
it.
at all.
You get to create it how you want to create it. If anyone here is interested in me coaching you on how to begin, attract, and whatnot, you know, my info's on the pamphlet, Steve Craig. I'm an appraiser, but, I will coach you on how to do this mastermind thing. It's a passion of mine.
Was this these mastermind groups with your organizations that you work for, or are these groups that you create?
I created this one.
Yeah, we created them.
Yeah, they're not part of the job thing at all. I mean, I happened to go through leadership training, which meant that I met a lot of people that were looking to improve, and I was part of that group. They assigned me to a group, and I was, after a certain amount of time, disillusioned with what was going on, and I thought, because I understood the concept of masterminding and because I knew other people that knew it, I put it out there that I'm looking to create one. I stood up in front of a room of about 200 people and said, hey, look, I'm going to create a mastermind. If anyone's interested, this is what I'm looking for. Come talk to me. And I got to tell you, it's no different than the result of Don standing up and saying, hey, here's all these scholarships. Apply. And he only got 2 offers. I had this is a room full of people that say they want to make something happen, right? 200 people? I probably had 4 people come up to me, all right? So either I was too intimidating in what I was looking for, didn't fit, whatever, it didn't matter. And then I think out of those 4, I took one of them. And then the other ones I invited. I'm like, hey, you didn't come up to me, but you're invited in this group. I invited, we initially, our first call had 6 people, and the one person was the one that walked up to me and I accepted, and we ended up, it just didn't work out for us. It just wasn't a fit. And then another person wasn't a fit for them. So we had the 4 of us, and then we attracted a 5th like about 6 months later. So it's just, it can happen, but it's not necessarily easy to do in everyday life. You don't just walk up, hey, you want a mastermind?
Right.
So you kind of need to.
You're probably going to start with people that you know. People that, like I said, are either your peer level or the next step up, and say, hey, would you be willing to get together, on a weekly basis for maybe an hour, and let's get a few like-minded people together, and let's push ourselves to accomplish more.
You can call it an accountability group, whatever you want to call it, but it is mastermind. Also, you can go to Napoleon Hill Foundation or Think and Grow Rich and check that out. I guarantee you there's people out there looking for a group like this to join. So you get on, the internet is so awesome, right? You can get on a bulletin board and chat with all these people that you don't know from all over the place. Maybe you can do it like that. There's all kinds of different ways. Be creative with everything you do.
I can't stress how powerful it can really be. You're just one person, and if you're in a group of people that are all trying to help each other succeed, everybody, goes from here to here. All I can say is that it's really had a profound effect on my life. It got him to start his own business, it really does work. So,
Yeah, the one thing I want to point out, by the way, I'm teaching you this because I need to learn it. Does that make sense? Okay? Because I'm continually evolving. I'm continually seeing it a different way. So if I didn't get to talk to other people about it, maybe I wouldn't look at it. I guarantee you next week my group's going to be shaken up. and they love me for that. That's what I'm there for. That's why they came in. That was the biggest blow to me, is whenever we kind of would go around, we did a thing that we call it My Experience of You Is, right? And it's basically, you go around and say my experience of you as leader or creative or whatever you might say, a one-word thing. And the feedback I received on that recently was just, they're like, somebody said, I'm here because of you, so.
what other questions do you have? Any?
It's a lot of junk, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Our last session is the closing session. It's basically a career panel. Ask us lots of questions. We've got the whole alumni group to answer any questions that you have. So we'll be up at 1:13.